morning and welcome to Hello Westchester here on WCHE every Monday from 11:30 to noon. I'm Eric Lambera, joined by Kara Cordoni, publisher of Hello Westchester, which releases every Friday, covers all the news and information related to life here in Westchester. You can subscribe at hellowestchesterpa.com. Welcome back, Kara. How are you today?
I am doing pretty good. How are you?
Doing good. It's been a couple weeks.
It has been a couple weeks.
The snow and everything, so great to have you back here in the studio, and we do have a lot to get to, as always. The first thing we'll talk about, I think the big situation here in Westchester over the last week is the Goose Creek situation. Yeah,
so kind of a developing story there, although things seem to be in better hands now. But a week ago, Saturday, Westchester resident Allison McGuire was walking along Goose Creek when she noticed a rather disturbing sight. There was dead fish floating in the stream, and it was surrounded by bubbles and a milky white substance. And she wasn't the only resident to notice. Fortunately, thanks to those vigilant residents, they called in to the borough and then West Goshen as well. Aqua got involved, as did the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, as there was an illegal discharge into the creek. Since then, all the agencies have been working together to stop the leak. So that was done relatively quickly. I think that was taken care of on Saturday. And then kind of the next steps were figuring out who was responsible, how did it happen. And some of those questions we have answers to now. Some are still kind of outstanding. So the leak was tracked back to an environmental solutions company called Atmos. They're located at 216 Garfield Avenue. That's in West Goshen. They were determined to be the source of the leak. According to what they told the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, the leak came from a process tank failure that caused a mixture of chlorine and a proprietary material called long-duration foam AC-645 to leak into the stream. So it's been identified. They were members of DEP were out last week on multiple occasions. They found the water to be clear as of Monday. However, we were out as Monday as well, and it did not appear clear. And so we did have some follow-up questions for them, and that was one of them. And they did kind of clarify that. So the water itself may have been clear. What we were seeing was a material deposit that had landed in the stream bed. So that was still visible on Monday. However, they said that Atmos was out there and cleaning up, and that was removed by Tuesday. So that discoloration was no longer present. We did also follow up with questions about the drinking water, because that was a big concern for residents. And the Department of Environmental Protection clarified that no, the drinking water was not impacted. Actually, the closest drinking water intake is approximately 8.5 miles downstream at the Chester Creek Reservoir and Ridley Creek treatment plant, and that was closed on Saturday after this was discovered, and it remained closed. I don't know if it's still closed, but as of our discussions with DEP, it was closed. So Ridley Creek, they can utilize the Ridley Creek or the Chester Creek as a source for their water, so they just switched to Ridley Creek. So there should be no concerns with the drinking water, but Aqua will continue to monitor the situation, they said. There were also some questions about this long-duration foam, AC-645. What is that? What is this toxic? And DEP said there are some toxicity levels associated with this product. So it is listed as according to the safety data sheets, and it has been known to kill fish and worms and other aquatic life. So there is some levels of concern associated with the products that were which were leaked. What those levels of concerns are vary. So we also talked with people from Goose Creek, the Goose Creek stream. What is it? What are they called?
I'm trying to look at.
No, where are they at here? Yes. Goose Creek Alliance. That's their name. Okay. So the Goose Creek Alliance, and we had a statement provided by Westchester University assistant biology professor. She's also a member of the Goose Creek Alliance, Dr. Megan Fork, and she kind of explains why the safety data sheets that are required to be on record for all these materials will tell you some information, but they will not tell you all of it, and that's unfortunately intentional. Because how she explains it is that under the Toxic Substance Control Act, companies are required to disclose full contents of proprietary chemical mixtures, but they are not required to provide comprehensive safety data for new products before the products enter commerce. And I mean, this is a protection of proprietary information. It's meant to keep trade secrets from getting out, I suppose. And so you can see the business rationale behind not disclosing all of the chemical compounds in which are in these products. However, there's real safety concerns with that strategy as well. So as of right now, because this is still a in development product, we do not fully understand all the risks associated with it and what exactly is in this product. So that's going to take some more time to figure out.
Yeah, and as far as the situation, I think you pointed out the fact that the drinking water wasn't contaminated, so that is at least a plus, and that it was closed at the latest 8.5 miles away at the Ridley Creek water treatment plant. But I think obviously otherwise not a good situation at all. No, it's not. And and I think just to kind of to add on to that, it's going to take a while to really understand the full impact of this and what has happened. So hopefully it has been cleaned up at this point. But it's going to be a while. Goose Creek Alliance President Mike Dunn told me they're probably not going to really know the extent of the damage until sometime next year. Obviously, some of these things are cyclical, and you need nature to take its course to understand what it means. They are, in the meantime, asking residents to help in documenting ongoing concerns. So if you do see anything unusual going on in Goose Creek, whether that's dead or distressed fish or return of these milky conditions or bubbles or foam in the water, anything of those like that, you should contact and we should probably contact the borough and West Goshen as well, but also share your findings with Goose Creek Westchester at gmail.com. They are keeping a tabs on it. And to that point, too, we did some digging into the EPA database on the company associated with the 216 Garfield property. It is Atmos Technologies, and they are a subsidiary of Rusmar Inc. And they have had noted violations previously with the DEP. So it's probably also wise to keep an eye on the company as well and make sure that they are following through with what they planned. Right, following correct protocol. And speaking of violations and inspections, that actually leads us to our next story. Now, before we get to the full inspection report, I know you had one that was closed by the health department, actually.
Yeah, it was a fun issue last week, I have to say. So it's also Chester County restaurant inspection reports. And we did note that one local taqueria was closed by the health department. That's the Taqueria Los Poblanos. This is the taco stand at 445 Hannum Avenue. It's the location that was formerly Sam's Pizza Island. It was closed last month by the Chester County Health Department after a routine inspection found it to be infested with rodents. Rodent droppings were observed throughout the facility, the report reads. The owner told inspectors that the establishment does employ monthly pest control. Unfortunately, what was done was not enough to keep the visitors outside the restaurant. Because of the extent of the problem, they were required to close. They need to make sure that all food contact surfaces, actually the whole thing, needs to be cleaned in a sanitary manner. They need to complete a service by a licensed pest control operator in order to control and eradicate the rodents and other pests. That all needs to be completed prior to their ability to reopen. The report also states that uncontrolled pest infestation constitutes an imminent health hazard. So, as of Friday, the restaurant did still remain closed. There's some work to be done there. Also in the report, it noted that, and there may be some work for the landlord as well, because it did note that the back exterior door does not fully close even when locked. So that obviously just invites pests in if you can't keep them out.
Right. So it makes sense, of course, in the meantime to have it closed and hopefully sort things out there. And going along with that, as far as the full report, I believe you had mentioned that there were 10 restaurants or institutions rather, that were out of compliance.
Yes, there were 10 additional institutions that were out. We can highlight a few of those that we're watching. One was the Bagel Bistro at 1502 Westchester Pike. They had 13 violations. These included prepared foods that were not being date marked, wiping cloths in extremely unclean condition, and personal items and medications left on the bagel prep table. Also, they had quite a few cleaning tasks ahead of them, including the refrigerator and freezer doors, cabinets, shelving, menu boards, exterior of the cooking equipment, exhaust hoods, floors, walls, ceilings, and the employee bathroom. So, little cleanup work needed there.
So it sounds like they needed just a clean sweep of everything.
I think so. Another location that was out is Cookie Dope at 28 South High Street. They had 11 violations, including with 2 freezers with a buildup of ice and house-made cookie dough that was in use 7 days after it was made. And that needs to be discarded within 7 days unless other plans are presented why it should be allowed to stay. And then utensils and equipment was stored clean with visible food residue. And they also had floors, walls, and equipment in need of some cleaning.
Yep, so some issues there as well. Any others you wanted to highlight?
Yeah, I'll do a couple more. Stetson Middle School, they had 3 violations. They had a fan that needed cleaning, and their mechanical dishwasher was only reaching temps of 102. It needs to reach 160 to properly sanitize. Just noting this one because I feel bad for the employees over there. According to the report, until repairs are made, all the washing must be done at their 3-compartment sink. Can't imagine what that's like for staff of a school that size to have to clean the dishes by hand. So hopefully they got that dishwasher repaired quickly.
Right. I think they would appreciate that for sure.
Yeah. And a couple more. Hershey's Mill Golf Club, they were out 10 violations. This included raw beef stored above ready-to-eat dairy products in the walk-in cooler. This was relocated during the inspection. They also had dented cans out intended for use. And both soda guns at the banquet bar and the milk wand at the espresso bar were observed to have residue on them. They, too, had a decent amount of cleaning tasks that they had to take care of as well. And then one more, the Board Trading Company, they are here on Gay Street. They are out. They had 11 violations. This company is struggling. They have been out of compliance since they opened this fall. Violations included flour, sugar, and other bulk containers stored directly on the floor, employees not following proper hand washing procedures, raw chicken stored above the guacamole, cooked eggs not cooled properly, grilled onions held without a date indicating when they were made, and a spatula stored as clean with visible food residue on it. There was also rodent droppings found behind the cook line and under the 3-compartment sink. Direction there to clean in a sanitary manner and have the facility serviced by a licensed pet and control operator before that also gets out of hand.
And they just opened not too long ago, right?
They
did. Where the Blazing Jays.
Yeah, they did. They just opened last fall, and they just every single inspection they have failed since then. So,
right. A little dicey of a start. For sure. Yeah,
I think it's an indicator that knowledge of food and cooking is not necessarily the same as what is required from a health standpoint. So probably a little bit of a learning curve that they need to get up to speed on.
All right, so we'll see what happens there. And then I know that there are also some that are now back in compliance.
Yes. So, before we do that, we're going to do a quick shout out. So it was suggested that we also shout those that are doing an exceptional job. And so we've got another category. These we're calling the 100% Club. That means they've made it through their annual inspection without a single violation. Not easy to do. There's only 2 this month. Canteen, which appears to be a company kitchen at the 300 Willowbrook Drive office park. I'm not sure this office park is even open, so that could be why they have no violations. But guess good for them anyway. And then the Goshen Baptist Church also had no violations. And then those that were back in from previous missed inspections include Wasabi, Westchester Pizza Cafe, Asteria, Saucy's Pizza, Taco Mar, Country Bagel, 9 Prime, Fiorello's Cafe, Alexandra's Pizzeria, Jitters, Santino's Tap and Table, Mayday Coffee, and Tsunami Asian Fusion.
A lot of big improvements there. And then, as you mentioned, shout out to the 100% Club. That was Canteen, as well as the Goshen Baptist Church. Just wanted to give a shout out there. We're at 11:47. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side, we'll have much more coming your way. So stick around, and we'll be right back. And welcome back to Hello Westchester. I'm Eric Lambera, joined by Kara Cordoni, publisher of Hello Westchester. You can subscribe at hellowestchesterpa.com. So picking up where we left off before we get to some quick updates, I know we had an update on Ellis Lane redevelopment project.
Yes, this was brought to our attention again by a reader, but there has been work underway at 20 Ellis Lane and 1240 East Strasburg Road in West Goshen. This was the former location of of the Old Mill Antiques and Interiors. It was housed in the historic Bird and Hand Barn over there on Ellis Lane. Unfortunately, the property and the one neighboring have been purchased and combined, and they are set for redevelopment. As part of that redevelopment plan, the old barn was demolished. It had been advised that by the Chester County Planning Commission that they recommended that the applicant and the township consider revising the site plan to allow for the preservation and adaptive reuse of the barn. However, that did not happen because the barn has since been demolished. On the good news, the home, the Bird and Hand Tavern, which is a stucco stone building that was built in 1780, that is being preserved as another building on the lot. But the barn, unfortunately, did not make it. So they're moving forward with the rest of the plans. It's going to have 14 townhomes on the remainder of the site. So that's what's going on there, if you were curious.
Yep, so just to recap, the Bird at Hand Tavern, that is now being used as an Airbnb, and then the Bird and Hand Barn, the stone structure built around 1775 recently, has been demolished. And then moving over to our quick updates, I know we have a few to get to.
Yes, so we'll start with the the work being done at 202 and Route 926. This will be continuing through the end of the month, just as a heads up. Construction is going to continue from Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Do expect lane closures and flagging at this time. And the improvements here are part of a $2.9 million project to improve traffic flow and reduce crashes in the area. Very popular intersection. Little short-term pain, but hopefully that'll improve things going forward.
Right. Yeah, I feel like in the meantime, obviously causes a lot of headaches, but ultimately, hopefully, worth all the wait and everything. So that was road work at 202 and 926.
Yeah. So next we have Rita's is open. So yes, if you haven't noticed, Rita's is open for the season. I guess they opened a little bit early this year. Maybe jumped a gun a little bit because it's 2 days after they opened. They were forced to close again for snow. But hopefully now it'll stick and they'll be open. Also open now is Salad Works and Fruitables. That's at 1353 Dilworth Town Road. So if you need a salad or a fruitable, check them out.
And as far as Rita's Water Ice, I feel, do you know if they did, like, they usually do the free, like the first day?
No, they did not do any promotions for the first day. I believe they're still coming, like one for the first day of spring or something. That might be what they have upcoming promotions, but I don't think they've done anything yet.
So they'll be coming up soon there.
Yeah. So, and speaking of open again, Kildare's is open again. The Irish Pub on Gay Street closed for several weeks last month as the building underwent some improvements, including the replacement of the floors. But they opened last week just in time for St. Patrick's Day.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Coming up this weekend, I'm sure people were there last weekend as well. So when did it reopen? Was it within
Thursday, I believe it was Thursday. Yeah, they reopened. So, yeah, they were open.
I know some people celebrate early, so
yes, I've heard.
Make sure you get multiple weekends, I guess, out of it.
Which is very early because it's still another week away.
Over a week away, yep.
So and then we have the new principal. Fugate Middle School has a new principal. The district announced late last month that Zachary Lewis has been named to the position. He will be filling in for interim principal Dr. Alexis McGloin. Mr. Lewis previously served as a middle school principal in Philadelphia. The district promises additional information about the transition and opportunities for families to meet with Mr. Lewis in the coming weeks.
And speaking of new executives, we have the Lasko YMCA welcoming a new executive director.
Yes. So they too have new leadership. This is Executive Director Valerie Teneriero. Yeah, apologize, Valerie. I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
What I had it, but
yeah. She's a 17-year veteran of the Y. Although she's not local, she has spent her time in New York, New Jersey, and California. Her focus has been on health and wellness. In her role as executive director, she will provide strategic leadership focused on community impact, operational excellence, and staff and member experience. I wish her luck. We used to be members and have the kids go to Oscar Lasko YMCA, and they do experience a lot of turnover in that position. So hopefully she'll be here for a while.
Yep, and as you mentioned, 17-year veteran of the Y, so a lot of great experience, and she'll be able to put that to the task here at Oscar Lasko YMCA. And I know you had a couple of points on Westchester University.
Yes, so Westchester University is undergoing a rebrand after 154 years. They're looking to rebrand, and not just looking for a new logo and a new tagline, but they really, as they put it, it's a brand platform that will speak their truth. It's a 3-phase project, launched last fall, and is expected to run through the summer when they plan to unveil the new look and feel. They're undertaking this as a way to kind of distinguish themselves in a competitive marketplace. They are particularly looking to increase their reach outside of the Westchester area and really even the East Coast, and making the university more well-known nationwide. The project was met with some doubts by some current students who released an op-ed on it in the Quad newspaper last week.
I did see that. Yep.
Did you see that? Yeah, it was getting a lot of chatter at the university level. They kind of questioned the point of this and really the responsibility of it, I guess, with all the number of outstanding things that are going on there. As they stated, great marketing isn't going to change the dilapidated dorms, unpopular food options, and classes not being offered. There was some pushback from Westchester University Executive Vice President and Provost Jeffrey Osgood, who disagreed with their take and suggested that blaming a university rebrand for every frustration on campus is intellectually unserious. A new visual identity does not create housing shortages, does not dictate dining contracts, and it does not determine course scheduling, suggesting that it may generate outrage, but it does not generate insight. It was a lively comment section on this one, as I'm sure you can imagine, with responses like that.
Yeah, the article definitely very, I guess, they critiqued, for lack of better words,
they were.
For sure.
They held no punches on that one.
Right, so definitely opinionated on that. And then I believe we have one more quick update. It was Westchester Chef's win at a sweet charity fundraiser.
Yes, so shout out to Westchester Chef Evan Schotel, as well as John Chirac Catering. Both walked away with at least a piece of the top prize at this year's Sweet Charity fundraiser event hosted by the Chester County Community Foundation. It's the dessert competition. Chef Schotel won for most creative dessert, and Jean Chirac Catering grabbed a portion of a three-way tie for tastiest dessert.
And so Chirac Catering, actually one of our sponsors, so shout out John Chirac Catering, as well as Chef Evan Schotel from Westchester winning first place. So congratulations for that. And then I know we have a couple of things to look ahead to as well.
We do, yes. So.
And then the first one I was seeing was March 9th. So today there was a All About AI family workshop at Pierce Middle School, 6:30 to 8. Of course, AI constantly being thrown out there.
Yeah, so a lot of questions around this one. So this is a family workshop. It's being hosted jointly by the Westchester Area School District and the Westchester Community Care. And it's a discussion designed to bridge the gap between AI awareness and AI action. Also this week, Safe Harbor is hosting a fundraiser called Cheers for Change. It's going to take place at TECA from 6 to 7:30 on Wednesday. Tickets are required. It's in celebration of their 30th birthday. And then on Saturday, speaking of St. Patrick's Day, Chester County Ancient Order of the Hibernians will be hosting their 48th annual Irish program at the Elks Lodge. There will be live entertainment, Irish dance, and face painting. This is Westchester's longest-running St. Patrick's Day event.
Yep, so $15 for adults. Children are free, and as you mentioned, longest-running St. Patrick's Day event, so a lot taking place there. And Kara, we are out of time. Appreciate your time as always, and thank you, listeners, for checking out the show. You can catch the podcast 95.3wche.com, and we'll talk to you next week.